Hey everyone, welcome back. And we are live for episode 100 of At the Coffee Table
How many?
podcast. Yeah, it's just when I started this in the middle of COVID, the COVID lockdown, because we were doing nothing in real estate. So I figured, what the heck? I've always wanted to try a podcast, and it seemed like the best time as any to start one. And here I am, or here we are, 100 episodes later. One thing I just kind of surprised Bob with, and just so you, in case you don't know, I'm Jason Clank. I'm here with my co-host Bob Kahn. Bob, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm
I'm
ready to get into it.
I'm so excited. I'm just jumping right in. So one of the things I just kind of surprised Bob with, and I was thinking this morning, was to find episode 1, episode 25, and episode 50 of At the Coffee Table podcast, and just to see. I started this podcast, like I said, in the middle of the COVID lockdown. All I had was an old laptop with a crappy camera and AirPods, and that's how that's how the whole thing started. So hopefully this plays and everybody can hear it. So here's the introduction from episode 1. Big pause.
Hi, welcome to the inaugural first ever episode of the Around the Coffee Table podcast.
Notice
Why
a
is this
different name
podcast
change.
called Around the Coffee Table? Well, I'm going to tell you. My name is Jason, and I will be your host of this podcast.
So bad.
I wanted to start this podcast as a forum to discuss, any kind of topics. My background comes from public safety, but I also currently work in business as a consultant and a real estate agent. So I plan on picking topics to go over the next few episodes, just to kind of
I was not Walter Cronkite.
Point of thought and what I hope to accomplish with this podcast. So
Confident
name,
you are now,
title.
So that was part of the beginning of episode 1. So then I found episode 25, which this episode, if I remember right, was it was back to school time, and I had recruited my friend Nicole to be a co-host on the podcast, and we were talking the difference between classroom, school, and at-home teaching.
At the Coffee Table podcast. I'm Jason Clink, your host, and with my co-host Nicole McDonald, we're pulling up our chairs to the virtual coffee table. Today's discussion is the impending school year and all that comes with it, and what it's going to change for parents, or maybe stay the same since last March. So just a quick
again talking about the pandemic,
into distance learning, homeschooling, and the frustrations that come out of it for parents. Nicole, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I sounded like I was annoyed or
this episode
rushed for time.
Here to your heart. You started home.
So, and then here's episode 50. If it'll play.
Must have been a great.
There we go. And that's probably right around the time that I started.
Hey everyone, welcome back, and this is episode 50 of At the Coffee Table podcast.
Oh, we got a congratulations.
And I am joined today with Gemma Elcock of Skybound Rescuer. Gemma is an award-winning innovator and thought leader in the use of drones for public safety.
So this was a really cool episode, especially for episode 50, because Gemma was overseas. She's in the UK, and she owns her own drone business, and I'm really minimizing it poorly, but her own drone business that supports public safety and it supports first responders, supports rescue, and really interesting story. And that's when things really got interesting for me in this podcast, was that I was starting to get really cool guests on right around 50 and beyond. One of the things I heard early on was that, thanks Jeff, Merry Christmas. One of the things that I learned early on was that I was listening to the Real Business Owners and their podcast, and this was early on in their podcast, and they were talking about successful people, and that successful people just want to help, but they're never approached to help because people are afraid of wasting their time or something along the line. I'm paraphrasing. So I went, I went, oh, what the heck? So I reached out to Trevor and Cal at Real Business Owners since they threw that line in the water, and I said, hey, would you guys be interested in being on my podcast? And Cal couldn't commit, but Trevor did, and Trevor was on one of the earlier episodes. So that was, and it's been an exciting ride that's been created since then. So here we are at episode 100. I have a new co-host. We have a new format. And I'm lucky to have Bob here, and pretty grateful that he takes the time to co-host, so you don't have to listen to me ramble and talk to myself.
They can listen to me ramble instead.
They listen to you. So as always, even with episode 100, we'd appreciate it if you like, comment, and share. We're happy to have the comments that we've had already, so that's super exciting. So diving right in, Bob and I we had created a new part of the podcast, and it's called "It's in the News." And we're all set for Christmas. Got my hat on, got my coffee, and we chose 3 different news clips to kind of give our own opinion, our own spin on, or our interpretation, whatever it might be. So the first one that we were, what's that?
Tell them where it came from.
Where
you found it.
Oh, the first news clip?
No, the 3 of them, aren't they all from the same place?
Yeah, I mean, it's all Twitter. It's all Twitter. Yeah. Thank you, Elon Musk.
Got to set the stage.
Yeah. And appropriately, this is a good segue into the first news topic of "It's in the News." Is Elon said on Tuesday that he plans on remaining the Twitter CEO until he can find someone willing to replace him, which was interesting when I saw that, because I saw another new one, and it could have been a spoof or whatever, but that he was going to replace himself with Trump Jr. to run Twitter. I don't know how true that is, but that was one of the other things I saw. And I know Bob's very passionate about his answer and this news clip, so I'll let him take it from there.
Well, for those of you who are fans of Junior, good luck.
Yep.
Anyway, when that's really loud. When he first announced the Tesla, he came off as a hero. Oh my God, that's great. The one thing he forgot to mention is he didn't invent it. He invested in it.
Right.
And although it was a great idea, whoever invented it, who I don't know, it seems to me, and I could be wrong, he never gives credit where credit is due. It's always about him.
Yeah.
In my mind, I see him as a wannabe dictator, who only gives a crap about himself. Why am I being so nice? He doesn't give a shit about anybody else but himself. He's a very, very wealthy man. Now, whether or not he donates to charity, supports anything other than himself, I don't know.
Right.
He could be like Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra had a cachet about him where, he was a tough guy, but he gave away millions of years under the saying that don't tell anybody. I'll give it to you. I just don't want the world to know, because I want to ruin my image. Well, that could be Musk. What he did, I'll give you some positive. What he did for Ukraine, I thought was great. Okay.
Yep.
I wish he would do more for this country.
Right.
Adopted country, because everybody knows he's from South Africa. As far as Twitter, I don't like what he did with Twitter. He got rid of everybody that made Twitter whatever it was, including the owners.
Right.
But there was a reason why people were banned. There was a reason for it, and I'm not naming names here. And he just said, no, freedom of speech. No, the freedom of speech that was the people that got banned was the same thing, and the reason why you can't yell fire where there is none and cause a riot and cause panic.
Yeah.
I'll enough on that. Your turn.
No. And I agree to a point, But like Elon's Elon. I find him to just being an eccentric guy who, he builds his brand on shock and awe, and he builds his brand on being very bigger than life. I think the previous management of Twitter censoring and removing people from the platform, I feel the same way about all the platforms that, we have if we're not hurting anyone, if we're not telling lies, if we're honest, if we're there's some type of integrity, I really have a problem going against First Amendment right of freedom of speech. And that's the problem I have with a lot of the social platforms is the censoring that goes on. Like YouTube is tough. YouTube, I got reported once for a video that happened to mention, I think it had mentioned the Rona or something like that, but it went under review, and I'm like, that was the slimmest part of the conversation. I think it was one of the podcast episodes. It was the slimmest part of the conversation, but it got sent for review for violation of their policy, and this was all in the height of all the nonsense that was going on last year.
Yeah. Again, going back to people being, why is my voice so hoarse? Got to drink water.
Drink water. Bring coffee to the table.
And permanently, apparently not from Twitter. Yeah. You said as long as they're not hurting anybody, well, people were getting hurt.
Yeah.
The hate mongering.
Yeah.
That's in this country right now and around the world. Twitter is fostering it. Social media is fostering it. When you allow people to spew hate, anonymously, that's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Do they have a right? It depends on how you interpret the First Amendment.
Yeah.
But the crap that was thrown out for 5-6 years or before we know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You could be for or against them, but that was bullshit. Total bullshit. And what he was saying was lies. That's why he got banned. And then fomenting a resurrection. A resurrection?
A resurrection. Yep. That's it. Wrong time of year, Bob.
A revolution. That's why he got banned. And his son is just an asshole. And that's my opinion. You can differ from me. I don't think he's funny. I think he's a wannabe daddy. And Elon Musk caters to that crap.
Yeah.
Promotes it, with no apologies whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a fan. I think he's an asshole, period.
Yeah, my feeling isn't as strong. I'm pretty neutral with him because I just see him as like an eccentric guy trying to get interest built on being bigger than life and being loud.
You think that's the reason?
Yeah, I think that's.
I think there's no such thing as enough money. That's what I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at him. He takes over Twitter, walks into Twitter with the kitchen sink. I mean, that's just theatrics.
Is it? I don't know. Time will tell. It depends on which side is writing the story, I suppose.
Right. Yeah.
So
here we. Moving right along, we'll move away from that into something. A couple of things that are fun, and the next one is near and dear to our hearts. Is Aaron Judge this week, and we're switching to sports, but because it was in the news, and Aaron Judge a few days ago signed his new contract with the New York Yankees. Part of this, signing and the broadcast of it was the Yankees organization named Aaron Judge the 16th captain of the Yankees organization.
It's obviously a big deal. It really is. However, everybody knew he was been the captain practically since he walked into the room. I just love the way they did it. Oh, we're so excited. I bet you they sat down and they said something about it. Said, listen, sign with us. Let's talk about being the captain or whatever.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm happy. I thought the picture with Willie Randolph, Judge, and Derek Jeter was terrific.
Yes.
You know, it was, because basically Willie, Willie and Ron Guidry were the last ones before Jeter.
Well, no, Donnie Baseball.
Oh, excuse me, Don
Yeah.
Mattingly should have been there too, except he's on the enemy team now. That's a whole different story. But I just I marvel with how much money has been spent. Mr. Cohen on the other side of in Queens has spent almost $800 million on 3 players.
Yeah.
Like you got they needed another shortstop, like they needed a hole in the head. Yes, did they need a third baseman? Yes. But my God, 312 million for 12 years. The guy's what, 28? So 40 years old. The same thing with Judge, the same thing with Betts. All these people getting this ridiculous amount of money and betting that he's going to be Nolan Ryan, not Ryan Duran. If anybody knows who Ryan Duran was,
Yeah.
and there comes a time when the body just says,
Well, that's just. I mean, realistically, Judge with 9 years and being 40 or 41 years old, he'll end up at the last 2, maybe 3 seasons. He'll end up being DH. He'll be pulling stints like Giancarlo does.
Yeah. And is it possible that I mean, look, Derek Jeter to me was a great shortstop. Was he the best? In his mind, yes. Maybe not the best. I think A-Rod was a better overall shortstop, but that's a different issue. The point is, his last 3 years were diminished returns. Anybody, on the average, anybody that hits 36, 37, 38, shit happens.
Oh
Your
yeah.
body breaks down. You don't have the speed in your bat anymore. You don't have.
Yep.
You lose a step, 2 steps.
Well, that's what Jeter said at the end. He said, "It's just I love the game. I love playing. I love the Yankees, but it's too hard to get my body ready to play all year long."
Right. I mean, for every Nolan Ryan,
Yeah.
a million flash in the pans that look great, but be as it may, you got Bogart from who was with the Red Sox.
Yep.
Was he good? Yeah. Was he the face of the Red Sox? I guess. I don't know. I'm not a Red Sox fan.
All right.
But you never really heard, oh, Bogart's great. You didn't hear anybody until he became a free agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now San Diego has $300 million players. And one of them's leaving next year. He's going to opt out. Manny.
Yeah.
I understand why they do it. I think Scott Boras is smart. Obviously, he's really good at what he does.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He's God, my brain is not functioning as usual. Barnum, he's BT Barnum come back.
Yeah.
He can throw the bullshit better than anybody.
Yep.
He just got Conforto signed for 3 years for like 65. I forgot the number. $65 million. The kid has been going downhill, and he's just barely 30.
Yeah.
I want him to represent me. I don't know in what.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Get us some contracts doing something.
Here's a question for you: is baseball, as a group, the MLB, is it better off because of all this money being spent, or not?
I don't think so. I think, and I've been of the opinion for the last 2 decades that baseball's turned into too much of a business. That they've one of the best things I've heard, and it's funny how A-Rod gets removed from baseball, and now you hear some really great stuff out of him. But he's really reinvented himself. That's a whole nother conversation. But one of the things A-Rod said coming out of the pandemic into regular games again with fans, but even during the pandemic when there was no fans, he said baseball has an opportunity right now to reach a new fan base, to do things they haven't done before, to mic up the guys, to mic up the bases, to, change the game for the better while keeping the traditional baseball framework. And they didn't do it. And now it's
changes. They definitely made changes.
but they made changes, but
the
it's
bases
all
are going to be bigger. I don't know, because here's the better. The bases are going to be bigger because there's not enough base stealing.
it's
And
why does the game have to be played by analytics? I just don't.
now
don't
you
get
have
it.
pictures on a clock because the fact is that they have commercials before, during, and after the game has nothing to do with the fact that it takes 3 hours. Back in the days when games would run 2 hours or less, they didn't have that many commercials. Guess why? Because they were on the radio and television was just starting out. They blame it on the players stepping out of the box. Okay, I mean, some of them get ridiculous with every pitch they got to gloves. Some pitchers do take too long, and the players on the field don't like it. One thing I do like, I could not stand the shift.
Oh yeah.
They did it. Now shift is not new. I don't know if you realize that.
It's not.
The year Ted Williams was batted over 400, they shifted every play. He figured out how to dunk it behind him, along with everything else.
Yep.
But they got it, and it started. The new modern shift started with the Rays when Madden was down there.
Yep.
And it got carried away.
Yeah.
They had the second baseman was like 40 feet into the outfield.
Right.
From the time when I don't know who the player was, his recent player, his average ground ball that would have been a hit without the shift was like 0.090 or 0.9, something like that.
Yeah.
But I wish I was a player. In fact, I think I put a life thought on that said, "Oh, to be an elite baseball player today."
Right, for sure.
I would say. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, as people can see, you and I can talk baseball for hours. So we went from Aaron Judge to everything baseball. So with that being said, on to the last news clip that I had found, and I just wanted to make it appropriate and have a little fun this time of year. So it was the 10 best Christmas movies of all time. Without looking at the list that I had sent you, Bob, what's the first movie that pops into your head?
First of all, I don't agree with them because they weren't all Christmas movies.
Right.
You want my list or their list?
Yeah, I want your list.
Okay. My first and has always been my favorite is It's a Wonderful Life.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see it colorized? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Second is Love Actually. I'm a sap for that movie. Home Alone 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Another sappy movie.
Yeah.
The original Christmas Carol.
Oh, all right.
Black and white.
Yep.
A Muppet Family Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Story.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Let's tongue to the metal pole. Yeah, I'm there with you.
I'm up with 7 because, it was White Christmas. I just love that movie. I love the song.
You know, from what I remember from my childhood, which it's moments of clarity every now and again, was my parents always put on Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
My kids used to watch that.
Yeah, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. So that was one that always stuck out in my head. One that we love in this house. My wife absolutely it's her favorite of all time is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Okay. That was one on the list.
Yep, we watched that probably 3-4 times between November and January. So, but again, Home Alone. The kids always love Home Alone. Here's a question for you that I thought of, and it tongue in cheek: is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I was just thinking that. It's the story is he's coming home. His wife is coming home.
Yep.
For Christmas, and they're meeting for the Christmas party. I guess you could call it it's not a Christmas theme movie because if you're talking about movies that people like to watch because they're home, okay, that's different. But don't call it Christmas movies. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Yeah, so is let's see, so is Battle Cry a Christmas movie. Because they sing a Christmas song in the middle of the show before they go to combat. That doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I agree. I've never ever looked at Die Hard as a Christmas movie. It was just it was an action film during Christmas time.
It was yeah. It was so.
I saw a spoof on TikTok that Bruce Willis made, and he's like, "Die Hard is not a Christmas movie."
So what is your list? Did you make a list?
So that's what that's what I say. National Lampoons, Emmett Otters, The Muppets, Home Alone. It's I enjoy and the kids enjoy from Halloween to Christmas is The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh,
the digital cartoon type thing,
like that.
That could be Halloween or Christmas.
Yeah, I never took to it.
Yeah. The kids always watched it a lot.
Obviously, when my kids were young, we did the Peanuts stuff and we did the Muppet stuff.
Oh yeah.
Santa Claus is coming to town. What's the snowman? Frosty the Snowman.
Yep.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
That stuff. Okay.
What about?
Yes, are they movies? Yes, they're movies. Yes. Okay, they're animated films, but
and I find Elf funny, but I watched it a couple times, and I don't need to watch it every Christmas. It's funny, but
it's funny. I've never watched it all the way through, even though I love James Caan.
Yeah,
may you rest in peace.
Yep.
There's a new movie out with him and Ryan Reynolds. It's not a Christmas movie, but I forgot what it's called. But that's the first movie I really enjoy Farrell in. I really did. That's the first movie.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, I like him. But I remember, I think the first time I saw It's a Wonderful Life, Channel 2, back in the 50s and 60s, used to have a picture for a Sunday afternoon. I don't remember what time. Maybe it was 2, 3 in the afternoon. So the first time I watched it was with commercials. And then, and it really, when it first came out, it bombed.
Yeah.
Absolutely bombed. But over time, it became a fan favorite. And it never fails to bring a tear to my eye at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, ding, ding. There you go. You get your wings. Yay, another angel got their wings. Woohoo. But Love Actually, I think is great. I just, the way they put that thing together, I think it's hilarious. So I like war movies and these kind of movies. I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah, and I really enjoy It's a Wonderful Life. I always have. Even black and white or color. First of all, it's interesting because of the time period, and then secondly, it's just a true story that tells a lot. It doesn't matter really what the time period is, because it's appropriate in any time period. So that's always a favorite one for me.
Yeah, can't believe it's a day and a half from Christmas.
Yeah.
I'll be doing a post, and it says, "Did you hear flyby? It was January yesterday." What the hell?
Yeah. We just can't seem to slow down the sands of time.
No. Yeah. The more to me is, what this time of year is supposed to mean.
Right.
Now, everybody makes a big deal out of Hanukkah, and for my landsmen, I'm sorry about what I'm going to say, but the fact is, Hanukkah is not in the top 10 most important holidays in the Jewish calendar. If you don't buy that, talk to your rabbi. But Christmas, I don't remember the baby giving out gifts. Do you?
Nope.
I know the symbolism of giving gifts to your family and your friends is in honor of Jesus, but the problem is it's not really. You never mention it in the card. From me to you, thank you, Jesus. Some people do, I'm sure. Obviously, I'm not a Christian,
Hmm.
but I believe in what he was reported to have said,
Yeah.
and I just wish that the nonsense would stop. I'm not saying don't give out gifts. That's your own, up to you. I would like to see people to, the good cheer, because Christmas in New York and Manhattan was my favorite time of the year. It's the city transformed, the people transformed. They
Right.
were as nice as the day after 9/11.
Oh.
People would stop and they would look at these incredible displays in the shops and the department stores. And when they would say, Merry Christmas, they would say it like that rather than Merry Christmas.
Right.
Happy New Year. People meant it. It was a great time of year. And the song, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Really, and Silver Bells, and they were great. Of course, they didn't start playing them until after Thanksgiving, not back in July. But
Uh,
my wish, my hope for this season and the new year is people remember what peace really means, peace on earth, goodwill towards man, and take the words again that Jesus reportedly said to heart. Treat each other with love and kindness.
yeah.
What? Give to get. You want to make a lot of money this year? Give. Keep money in
Yes.
circulation.
Yep.
Give to those who need it.
Yes.
If you got extra. One of my favorite stories was, oh, come on, Bob. There was a poet and a writer, oh, Henry. Thank you. Thank you. And it was a story about giving.
Uh-huh.
Two young people who fell in love. They were going to get married. He wanted to give a gift. He gave her the only thing that he had and the only thing he ever loved. Yeah. Yeah. And if you've ever done that, it is a remarkable feeling. My first guitar, which it was an Epiphone, but everybody thought it was a Martin. I
Hmm.
gave it to my friend, and people go, "Why'd you give it to your friend?" Because I love the guitar and I love my friend. And they
Hmm.
went, "You're fucked up."
Uh, you know,
But
I think this time of year it's important to have gratitude, to have some humility, like you
absolutely,
said, to want better for others, to have better experiences, not make it all about the commercial end of the holiday season. That's why this year, my wife came up with the idea of taking the kids to, well, it was arranged by our oldest, our soccer player that her soccer group had arranged for the entire league to go help the Salvation Army sort
right?
food, sort gifts, and my wife's like, I think the girls really need to go participate and learn about giving back, even if it's just their time. And I'm like, absolutely, let's do it. So last Saturday we were down at the On Center here in Syracuse, the convention center, and the sheer amount of donations was just mind blowing. There was a couple hundred people there sorting out gifts, sorting out food. One of the local grocery stores had brought in pallets of canned goods and box goods, and what a wonderful thing to be able to participate even on that small level, to give up an hour or two of our time, um, to for folks that just for the opportunity to give folks a better Christmas because they may go without.
It's funny. Back when I was a kid, and just after the Civil War, I mean, all the major holidays, the only thing that was open was a restaurant, bakery till 1, and gas stations. That was it.
Yeah.
I'm like, one of my, I laugh when people say they have to work on Labor Day. Huh? What's the point then? Right?
Right. Right.
Um, I would like, if you want to go back and change some things, I would like to change the attitude of people towards the holidays. People meaning owners of businesses. Hey, if you're not going to work, you people shouldn't work.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I'm getting preachy again. So maybe it's time to end this thing.
That's awesome. So with that, we are going to end the show for today, but it's Christmas time. It's a great time to take that pause. And I talked about it earlier today on my daily post, my daily vlog, was to take that pause to enjoy your family, enjoy those that are most important around you.
Absolutely.
Give the world a break. Maybe it'll start spinning a little slower in the next couple of days. Because it's just it'll be done in a blink. It'll be Monday, and we'll wonder where it all went. And we got to slow it down.
Yeah. Again, I wish a very Merry Christmas for those who celebrate it. I get to celebrate it because my wife is not Jewish.
Oh, there you go.
And the food. Don't forget the
Yes,
food.
don't forget the food.
And again, I really truly wish peace on earth and goodwill towards man because, man, we need it.
We do.
Have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas day. Enjoy being with your loved ones, and we'll see you next week.
Everyone, and have a great holiday season. No matter what way you celebrate, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and until next time, happy holidays.